The pathway to your purpose is your passion and your pain. And the more space that you can create to sit with your pain and your passion, the more your purpose reveals itself. I've been pondering purpose as a pathway out of purposelessness, out of purgatory, out of existential dread and paralysis, and into purposeful, self-fulfilling existence, into a prayerful return to God. Because your purpose comes from God. He has breathed it into your heart, into the pathos of the pain which He has assigned to you to overcome. If you avoid your pain with pleasure, if you avoid your passion because it's too difficult, too much work, you don't have enough time, too many things are in the way, then you are avoiding your own purpose and you are living out of alignment with the divine purpose that God has gifted you. The simple formula is recognition of attention as perceptive energy, as currency, and to recognize that where you pour your attention is what will come back to you. If you pour your attention into distraction, into avoidance of pain, into purposeless activity, then you will live a life that is purposeless, that is empty, that is meaningless. And I know this not from some proselytizing or philosophizing. I know it from the experience of my own life, of spending years and years and years paralyzed by uncertainty, by pursuits of pleasure to fill the void of purposelessness, which not only I've been living choice by choice throughout my life, but that I have also inherited ancestrally and from the collective, from living in a world so disconnected from God and from the Mother. The discovery and the simplicity of this discovery have been coming from my external reaching for healing in all of the wrong places. And the moment that I begin to pray and that I begin to root myself in my prayer's guidance to my purpose, to my passion, to my writing, and to asking God, how do I direct my writing? How do I direct my passion? How do I direct my prayer? And He answers through my own will, by guiding me to the proper actions and guiding me to the places of contrast that very clearly say, this is not the purpose. Your purpose is here. To get more clear and pragmatic, because I'm on a flow that just doesn't want to stop right now. Just a couple weeks ago, I entered a deep, prayerful state and trance. Asking God what my purpose, what my direction is. Having felt for so long purposeless and trapped and like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And being so dissatisfied and in paralyzing, crippling pain at the choices that I continue to make that keep me stuck in purgatory. And so I prayed. And this was not just one day of prayer, but several days of praying. And I asked God, please guide me to my purpose. Please guide me to the proper actions that will lead me to healing and purpose and to service because I'm tired of living a small existence. I am tired of being siphoned by the system of capital punishment that is called capitalism, that is a hamster wheel, that is demiurgic, that is trapped in material causality, that is free of soul, that is not free of soul, it is soulless, because it has no freedom in it. There's nothing free about it. And God guided me through my actions to particular mindset shifts, to particular writing sequences and traces of words, wherein I followed my passion such that it became the pathway. The passion becomes the pathway towards purpose. And purpose is the pathway that reveals itself the more you cultivate your passions and the more you confront and feel your pains rather than avoid them. Earlier, I spoke of attention and of pouring attention in particular directions, and you will receive that which you pour attention into. If you are distracted, if you are pursuing pleasure that is illusory, if you are pursuing emptiness and purposelessness, that is what your life will be. So the point is to shift your attention, your consciousness, your perception, your energy, your focus away from distractions, away from things that numb you of your pain, away from things that are empty, and pour your attention instead towards your passion, which reveals the pathway of your purpose. Now, you might say, but Carl, I don't know my purpose. I don't know what I'm passionate about. And that is where the first step is simply say no to the things that you know are distractions, to the things that you know are just empty pleasure seeking to avoid your pain. If that means going and sitting in silence in nature for 3 days straight, then you go and do that, and you will get the answers that you ask, or the answers to the questions that you ask. Even if you just sit and do nothing and ask no questions, you will get answers if you choose to listen. I myself have been looping in this story that since I don't know what my purpose is, and since I am paralyzed by the uncertainty, or so I've said, of what my purpose could be, all of the potential pathways. Oh, could my purpose be to be a teacher? Could I be a philosopher? Could I be a fruitarian? Could I be this? Could I be that? All of the possibilities open themselves up, and I don't choose a single one because I'm too uncertain. The moment that I sat with myself and decided enough is enough, I am making a choice, I began to write, and the purpose began to reveal itself. The purpose that I've been tuning into. Since I didn't know what my purpose was, since I've lived so long as purposeless, I essentially sat with the question, God, what is my purpose? And the first hint, there are two hints that presented themselves. The first is that I know my purpose has to do with writing and language. I know that. So I have a blank page and I have a pen and I just start writing. That is purpose and passion, revealing the pathway. The second hint that I got was something of a derived from Jungian psychology that declares that every human being is a light and shadow, a dyad of light and shadow. And every human being is a quaternity, a four-part being made of these two dyads of light and shadow. Your mother has her light and her shadow. Your father has his light and his shadow. And you are a quaternity of these four things. You are your father's light and your mother's light combined into your light. You are your mother's shadow and your father's shadow combined into your shadow. So if you are purposeless, if you are stuck and you don't know what your purpose and your passion is, remember, the pathway to purpose is your passion, your light, and your pain, your shadow. And you have inherited these not only from your parents, but their parents and their parents and their parents in these ancestral streams that have become your life. So the gifts and the blessings and the talents and the genius that each of your parents carries is the genius that you carry on behalf of your ancestors within your heart, within your body, within the entirety of your being. And we all are gifted in one way or another because we are children of God, and God gave us this gift of life and beauty and passion. On the other side of passion is pathos, is pain, is suffering, is karmic weight, which is the pain of your parents and their ancestors before them, your ancestors. And most people think and feel that pain is this inescapable, crippling, horrible, evil thing. But it's by confronting and feeling the pain that you begin to heal and uncover within that pain the purpose of Chiron, the wounded healer, that has brought you here. Within your deepest pain is your most profound ability to heal not only yourself, but to heal others and the world. So that you can look to your parents, and you likely know them better than most human beings in the world. And you can look at the gifts of your mother. What is she really good at? And what is your father really good at? And then what are the things that you absolutely hate about them? The things that you're like, yeah, they fucked up in this area of life, and they gave me this, and blame them, and I'm the victim because they gave me life and they also gave me this bullshit to deal with. Long in my years of life have I spent my time in victimhood and in scripts that say, this is a curse, this is paralysis, this is horrible, which is almost suicidal and ingratitude. And ingratitude is just like spitting in the face of God. Have gratitude for all of it by turning it into your life, into your purpose, into your becoming. So that's if you're at the stage where you don't know anything about your purpose and your passion. What were your parents passionate about? And what were their greatest pains? There you have hints, again, as to the direction of the pathway of your purpose and its becoming. I might draw a diagram. In fact, I need to draw a diagram because this idea that came through directly after a prayer and movement was a really big idea. It's like, whoa, this is why I'm here. Like expressing and exploring this is why I'm here. We got cold ocean about to caress my feet. And some sunshine. I think that might be all that I have for now on this video. I could probably go on and on. I'll go on. I'll go on just, just a little bit. I'm gonna draw the diagram for this video. If you envision the light and shadow of your mother and father, light is a circle, shadow is a circle. So you have 4 circles and they come together. And in the overlapping areas, you have the form of a cross. And cross symbolizes Christ, as well as symbolizing consciousness in its unification. The purpose of Christ is in his deepest pain, in his ultimate sacrifice as an innocent and perfect human being to take on the sin of the world and purify it by dying with it and resurrecting, so that the karmic pain is put to death and eternal life brings heaven back and frees from the chains of sin. You have inherited karmic pain. You have inherited absolute evils and darkness from your ancestral streams. And as you pick up your cross and you let these aspects of you die by choosing to transmute them into love and passion, then you embody the essence of Christ and you live a living, breathing prayer of Christ. And Christ is also God, the heavenly essence that is present in all things, also within the earth. I've been digging into the imbalance of the hypermasculine God whose omnipresence is somehow at odds with the feminine essence of the world. God is present in all things. There's a part of me that's terrified that this could be blasphemy and I could be punished by this. So if it is blasphemy, then God strike me down, because I wish only to be a being of truth and in service to God and to God's truth. Such that God is also the divine perfection, and the gift is the absolute eternal love that transcends the pain that is felt by bearing the cross. And this dyad is ongoing. And it is the divine purpose. And it's the pathway. It's the pathway that is revealing itself to me in my life. And I wanted to share it. So I'll wrap this up by saying that I've been pouring into this YouTube channel without much direction, without much clarity, without much purpose. And I'm recognizing that choosing a purposeful pathway, a intention to curate the container as the direction for this YouTube channel and for all my creative endeavors is part of the pathway. Is part of the pathway out of the purgatories of my uncertainty, which sometimes I try to record a video and I'm just like, I'm too in my mind and I can't let it flow. Here, like, it just flowed, and so I record the video. And any forcefulness, Anything that does not belong to the curated, intentional direction of this pathway that I'm discovering, I don't need to speak about it. I don't need to stay stuck in the false and dying paradigm of must create content no matter how good or bad it is, must be consistent, must push and push and push and force and force and force, as opposed to just going into nature, praying to God, asking God, use my will for your purpose, use my will for the discovery of healing and purpose. And let this purpose reveal itself and speak itself through me. And the last thing I'll say, which will turn into some very gentle and shameless promotion, which is to say I've discovered a pathway that I'm going to pour into from pondering my parents and who I am and my path. I have a Substack. It is called Astrotheosis. And I sat with that name, that title, and I was like, I've never really fully thought of what that means. Astrotheosis refers to astrotheology. Astrotheology analyzes the etymology of words, traces the meaning of words and their becoming, the ancestry of words. For example, the word word comes from the Germanic word worda and a Proto-Indo-European word were, and it means speech. And so these are ancient breaths, somatic, like vibratory, living, breathing prayers of our consciousness interacting with the world. And as my father, being a translator of poetry, of breath, and my mother, being a mystic, my pathway that I've discovered is to translate the mystical experience of language into somatically felt understanding. The branch of etymology that exists in our world is so hyper-intellectualized and does not recognize the living, breathing essence of the word. And the word is the breath that God breathed into being. The word is God. The word is logos. And so I'm following a pathway into astrology, astroetymology, somatic etymology, tracing the somatic, felt, phonetic essence of words into a mystical pathway of poetry. And I don't know the full purpose yet. And I'm still terrified in so many ways. And I still don't know what it's going to look like in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years. Maybe I'll choose something else. Who knows? But right now, that is what makes me feel the most alive. And when I do it, when I actually do the writing and I get into it and I follow the etymological traces, I'm like, oh yeah, this is it. Beautiful. And my goodness, I've pretty much been homeless for the past 2 months, living out of rental vans and house sitting and blah, 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 blah. And the past 3 weeks, I've been pushing really hard. And I've been overworking myself. And I've been like, I gotta do it this way. And the moment that I started pouring into purpose, into this pathway, opportunities just showed up. Like people who never responded to my messages on work trade positions and on house sitting positions just start appearing. And today I was at the coffee shop and I was like, I would like to go to Hawaii. Like minutes later, I get a message from a person in Hawaii. So, this is the power of transcendental prayer and realignment with purpose and just following the pathway of passion and let the purpose reveal itself moment by moment, layer by layer, prayer by prayer, heartbeat by heartbeat. Let go and let God. Feel your pain, transmute it into passion, and heal the world. That's it. Mwah. Goodbye.